Hello YouTubers and welcome to my review/opinion of the Ultimate Ears Megablast. So, this is a Bluetooth speaker from the Ultimate Ears range and it's supposed to be, I think, the top of the range. It's got 4 active speakers, so tweeter, mid-bass, and then 2 passive radiators at the bottom for, enhancing the bass response. That's a typical arrangement from small drivers, because at the end of the day, Bluetooth speaker is always going to have small drivers. So to squeeze a little bit more bass, they have passive radiators and things like that. As far as I know, it's the only speaker in the Ultimate Ears range that's got the tweeters, and that's the thing that I was really kind of keen on, to have that extra clarity at the high end and to give the music a little bit of a fuller sound. What I found in my quest to find a good Bluetooth speaker is that, and I've had like Anchors, Sonys, and whatnot, is that generally speaking, Bluetooth speakers tend to be boomy, like just bass boomy, right? They don't necessarily cut it, at the higher frequencies. So the fact that this had like the tweeters was really a plus for me. I got it on a Black Friday deal for like a really good price. The Mega Boom, which is the model underneath this one, it's already got a new model out, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new model of this coming out soon, where they got rid of this rubber band and whatnot. It's been out for a few years, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can get a really good deal for this. I think the original price for this was almost 300 quid, and I think you can get this for like half price these days. I got it for even less than that, the Black Friday deal, so I'm really happy. I didn't really need them, but I couldn't resist getting it. Right, sound-wise, so I've been using it for a few months and listening to music, podcasts, and whatnot, and it sounds brilliant. This sounds really good. It goes really loud. I hardly ever use it at maximum volume because this goes really loud. It easily fills a medium-sized room, for sure. The sound is clear. There's good presence to it. It's not bass heavy, but the bass is really present as well. It's enough to give the music weight, if you know what I mean. I find it quite sensitive to where you position it in the room. You have to, because these speakers fire this way, these speakers fire this way. So I find that, you have to, maybe be a bit careful where you position it, and, can just play around a little bit with the positioning of it. Outdoors is where the volume really shines, because you can just crank the volume up and you will hear it, right? So yeah, it's really rugged, it's all rubber and stuff. It's waterproof. Supposedly you can go swimming with this. I probably wouldn't do that. I think that's more of a marketing thing than anything else, because if you get this wet, there's always residue. There's some YouTubers that they put this in mud and whatever, and then they washed it and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't do that with this. I think it's more of a fail-safe situation. Yeah, so if it does happen that you end up dropping this into a swimming pool or whatever, it's not going to wreck the speaker, but I wouldn't go out of my way to be dunking this in water. A really good feature with this is that it's a Wi-Fi speaker. So it's not only a Bluetooth speaker, so you connect to your phone over Bluetooth, it's also a Wi-Fi speaker. It works really well with the Spotify Connect. So what does that mean? It means that, if you're at home, whatever, you connect this to the Wi-Fi, and then you use the Spotify Connect or Apple AirPlay or something like that to find this device in the Wi-Fi network, and then you control the speaker over Wi-Fi. What's the advantage of that? Is that then it releases your phone to be doing other things like phone calls and whatever you're doing on your phone. Another thing that I found really interesting is that the sound quality over Wi-Fi is slightly better, especially if you have a Amazon Music HD subscription, which I had. I was trialing it for a few months. I went back to Spotify just because Spotify's UI is so much better, and the integration with all Spotify is just great in that sense. But if you have an HD subscription, a Music HD subscription, you will notice the difference when you play Wi-Fi versus Bluetooth. The reason for that is because the Wi-Fi's bandwidth is a lot wider, so you can carry a lot more signal through that. High bit rate signals through Wi-Fi than you can Bluetooth. So that's a perk. I think the reason why this has Wi-Fi is because this is marketed as an Alexa speaker, but it doesn't really work well as an Alexa speaker. So, if you want to buy an Alexa speaker, just get one of those Amazon Dots. I think, they even do a studio version of it, and I'm not sure how good it is, but, if you don't want to skip on sound quality, get that one, maybe. But if not, if you just want the Alexa feature, you can get a Dot, which is a lot cheaper than this. Because it does work, the Alexa, but you have to speak really close to the speaker. It doesn't always acknowledge your voice and all that kind of stuff. So I was a bit disappointed when I got this, because although I wasn't looking for the Alexa feature, it would have been nice for it to work. And the reason it doesn't work, according to my research, is that there was a firmware update that killed the Alexa feature somehow. Go figure. It just happened. It's not an issue for me because I don't rely on Alexa. I never caught on with using Alexa or anything like that. So for me, it's not an issue. And this speaker does sound good enough to justify its price tag, even without Alexa. I want you to know that, yeah. So if you're just looking for a Bluetooth speaker, forget Alexa. This stands on its own just as a Bluetooth speaker, from my experience. What other things can I mention? Right, so it's got a charging dock. So that's the charging dock, but you have to buy this separately, which is a bit of a con. I think they should have included this as part of the package. So I got this on a Black Friday sale. And then I didn't want to buy this because, but it was a bit of a faff to have to connect the proprietary cable, every time I wanted to charge this, and then it's at the bottom, so you'd have to have the speaker upside down and things like that. Not the most practical thing, So I just went and bought this, but because I got this on sale, this cost me about a third of the cost of the speaker, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I suppose you pay for the convenience of, you just get home, you stick it there, and it's charging, right? So I'd probably recommend getting that. This is the original one for Ultimate Ears. I think Amazon has some knockoffs from other brands and whatever. So you might want to get, the knockoffs and stuff. But I got the Ultimate Ears ones because, there's some reviews of some of the knockoffs catching fire or whatever. Ultimate Ears sounds a bit like Apple to me at the moment because they're using this proprietary kind of a connection there for the micro USB, so you can't use any micro USB to get this charged, which is a shame. I don't like those kind of tactics and stuff, and when companies do that, it's just not nice. However, it is a good speaker. I love it. I do like it. In terms of buttons, it's got the volume up and down, the power button, and the Bluetooth and the microphone kind of a thing there. I wish that they added a few more buttons on here and like skip track and things like that. That would be, there's plenty of space to have done that. So I don't understand quite the reasoning why Ultimate Ears didn't do that, but they didn't. So it's a bit of a shortcoming with this speaker. I mean, I've got an Apple Watch, so it's okay for me because I can skip tracks and whatever without, taking my phone out or reaching for my phone and whatnot. But it would have been nice to have some more buttons on here, I think, Right, so I think, another thing that would have been nice is to have an auxiliary port. I know that, I don't see myself using auxiliary ports too often nowadays, but it would have been nice to have that option there, I think. Yeah, So I didn't really need this. It was a Black Friday deal. I got it, and I'm really happy with it. Up until now, I've been using for many years. I've been using this Orbit Sound Spaced 360, and this is really good stuff. Orbit makes like sound bars and all that kind of stuff, high-end sound bars and whatever. So basically, the way it works, you got a speaker here. Then you got like what you could consider two spatial speakers at the back. And what it does is that it creates this sense of 3D, so you don't really know where the sound is coming from, and it's remarkable actually. But it depends very much on the track itself. Some tracks it works really well, it works beautifully. Some other tracks it just makes a mess of it. The clarity, the detail, the resolution, this is a hi-fi grade stuff. The drivers and everything, and you can feel that, but it's a little bit let down with the implementation of this 360 sound and whatever, which it can either be amazing that you go like, wow, or it just wrecks the whole sound. But for years I've had this and it sounds pretty good. And then along came a Black Friday deal and I got this one. So what I do is I keep my Orbit spaced 360 in the bedroom, and I take this as my take around kind of speaker. It's big. I think it's the biggest one in the Ultimate Ears range, but big with speakers is not necessarily a bad thing. It's pretty rugged. It feels nice in the hand. It sounds really, really cool. What I like about this speaker is that it doesn't have that boomy lo-fi kind of sound that a lot of Bluetooth speakers have. Some people like that. It's just not my kind of my cup of tea. I love bass a lot, so if this was lacking in bass, it wouldn't be a good speaker. But it doesn't. It does not lack in bass, right? It's not super bass heavy, but it doesn't lack in bass. The sound is clear. It's well presented. It easily fills up a room. It works well outdoors. And it's got the tweeters. The tweeters is really a good thing for me, there aren't that many Bluetooth speakers with tweeters. I mean, JBL, I think the latest JBL, I can't remember the name of it, like the most popular JBL, it's a mono speaker now. Yeah, so it's only got one driver. And it's like, okay, if you don't know it, you don't know it. It sounds good, it sounds good. I suppose, Bluetooth speakers are quite small, so to get a stereo effect out of the Bluetooth speaker isn't the easiest thing to do, and sometimes you can't even tell anyway. So, but I really rate the fact that this has got the tweeters, and it sounds good. It's well built. Bit of a con with the proprietary cables and having to buy the charging dock separately. But that's what Ultimate Ears is doing. But for the price, 150 quid, I think this retail now, you have a choice either to buy this or buy the new Megaboom. I have a feeling, I haven't tried the Megaboom, but I have a feeling that as a speaker, this is probably a better option, right? Then you got the Wi-Fi perk, which you don't get with the Megaboom. So I suspect that this is going to be a better speaker in terms of delivering a good sound compared to the Megaboom. I may be wrong, but I'm going by the driver arrangement in comparison with the Megaboom. So that's my opinion, my review / opinion, experience, call it what you like, of the Ultimate Ears Megablast. Thank you very much for watching, and I catch you around.